Good morning, parents. I hope that you're having an amazing day. So I have a few minutes and I wanted to talk to you. One of the biggest concerns that I receive from parents is just out of fear and out of anxiety. And they always come to me and they say, CEO Ty, my child is failing. And in addition to failing, there is a threat, and I'm going to call it what it is, from the school system or the school that they're going to retain your child. Let me educate you and give you wisdom. First of all, we have to stop carrying the spirit of fear, okay? The spirit of fear is planted from the enemy. And so when we operate in fear, we don't have clarity about anything else. And so what I want you to do is operate from a place of peace. And when you're operating from a place of peace, you will have the clarity that you need, and you'll be able to operate in wisdom and do exactly what you have to do for your child. Number one, the school cannot just come to you and say, I am retaining, or we are retaining your child. That is a no-no. The school does not have the authority to retain your child if they have not put proper measures in place in order to assist your child. Let me repeat that. The school does not have the authority to retain your child if they have not put the proper measures in place in order to assist your child and give your child access to the curriculum. Let me help you. When you're dealing with a child that has a deficit in any area, whether that's reading or math, there are things that have to be put in place in order to help your child succeed. CEO Ty, what are those things that need to be put in place? First of all, the school has to be in compliance and make sure that the child goes through the different level or the different tiers. And so when you're talking about tier one is actually the instruction that happens within the classroom, and that's the instruction that everybody receives. And so during that instruction, a teacher, through assessments and through data, working with the child in small groups, doing whatever they need to do, the interventions, differentiated instruction, that teacher is going to see a red flag and they're going to say, uh-oh, it's something going on, or the child may not be actually accessing the curriculum on this level. They may be a little behind. They're having a little difficulty. How does a teacher measure that? They measure that through the data. You read data, okay? Progress monitoring, progress reports, and then a report card. When a teacher is looking at data, this is the time that you're calling the parent. And you're saying, hey, John Doe, Jane Doe, your child is having difficulty in the classroom. And these are the measures that we put in place. We're looking at the data. We see that he or she is struggling with this standard or in this area. And we want to have a conference with you to show you what we have put in place. And here are some tips or some strategies that you can do at home, and blah, blah, blah. These are the things that are going to help you. After the teacher and or principal has communicated with you, they've done data 6 weeks, 9 weeks, progress monitoring is like, uh-oh, something is still not working. So let's go to tier 2. Again, this is after progress monitoring and data. In tier 2, there is also progress monitoring and data, 6 to 9 weeks, maybe a little longer, sometimes 12 weeks. And so tier 2, what does that look like? It looks like everybody hands on deck at the building level. RTI specialist is coming in, the response to intervention, and your child is pulled out of class, and they may be in EIP, not an IEP, but EIP. That's the early intervention, and strategies are being utilized on the child's level. And again, progress monitoring is taking place, and everybody is looking at the data. You're still in contact with the specialist. You're still in contact with the teacher. Interventions are being made, so on and so forth. So 6 to 9 weeks in the classroom, maybe more. 6 to 9 weeks in tier 2, maybe a little more. So 6 to 9 weeks, they're talking to you. In December, they can't tell you that your child is going to be retained. No, not possible. There also has to be some sort of notification from the school. If your child is failing, you shouldn't see that your child is failing on the report card. Nah, you need to receive notification prior to that, whether that's a conference with the teacher, written notification, emails. You need to have the documentation. So your child has gone through tier 1, your child has gone through tier 2. That's not working. What do we have to do? Then we start looking at the data and the progress monitoring, and your child enters into tier 3. I hope that you guys can hear me because it's raining. Tier 3 is specialized services. This is when we say nothing that we did on tier 1 or tier 2 is working, so now your child needs to be tested because there's an issue, because they're not getting it. That's another conversation, and that is more progress monitoring. Because at the end of the day, your child, if they're struggling in the classroom, it has to be all hands on deck. You as a parent, the teacher, principal, counselor, psychologist, RTI specialist, everybody has to have hands on deck before we start talking about retention. Stop letting these schools bully you. Stop letting these schools feel like you're less than a parent and you're not doing a good job. And stop letting these schools make you feel like if my child doesn't pass a test, if my child doesn't do A, B, C, or D, they're going to be left behind. Parents, I need you to be empowered. I need you to know that you have a voice. I need you to be an advocate for your child, okay? And I need you to be informed. That is so important. That is so important. So when my parents come to me at my tutoring center and they're like, CEO Ty, I need you to get with it. I need you to hurry up. I need you to put my child on this level. This is what I tell my parent. I look at them in the face and I say, first of all, I will not compromise. I will not compromise my integrity and my moral and value system in order to put your child in a place that they're not supposed to be. If they are not operating on a 2nd or 3rd grade level, whatever grade they're in, and they're 2 to 3 grade levels behind, we're going to start where they are, meet them where they are. We're going to close that gap, and then we're going to move them forward. So many times you go to these different tutoring centers or different places where they can promise you all of these things, and at the end of the day, promises are just promises. Results are results. What is the data talking about? What is the data showing you? And how is your child growing? You want to look at the growth. If you are a parent and your child is at a tutoring center and you cannot look at the growth, if there are no assessments to drive instruction, you need to move to another tutoring center and enroll your child somewhere else. Bottom line, this is about your child. We're not going to operate in fear. No, we're going to operate in truth and integrity. And as a parent, you have rights. Know your rights. Stop being scared. Advocate for your child. Do exactly what you need to do in order to give them access to the curriculum. Have a winning day.